When I was in grad school, I had a workstation set up in my room. I'd actually originally set that space up during COVID when I started working from home, but it quickly became my office where I did all of my classes, my assignments, anything and everything related to school. But it wasn't just my workspace though. My 6-year-old niece also loved to sit at that desk and play. She was always curious about what I was doing and often wanted to be near me, even if it was just to help. So one day I walked into the room and I found her sitting at my desk with her hand kind of resting on her forehead, and she was shaking her head and she wrote in this little notebook, and I said, "Sis, what you doing?" And without missing a beat, she looks up at me and says, "Paying bills and working like you do." I smiled and I was like, okay. And I went about my day not really thinking much about it at the time. And then it hit me. About a week before that, she had walked into my room and asked me what I was doing, and I had said that I'm working and paying bills. It dawned on me that she had been watching me, soaking in my words and my actions without even realizing it. She was mimicking me, pretending to do exactly what she had seen me do. That moment, though, it might have been small, became a very powerful reminder to me about how much influence our lives have on those around us. Particularly when we least expect it, others are watching. And in this case, my niece wasn't just watching or observing what I was doing, but she was learning from it, taking what I did, how I handled responsibilities and what I said, and modeling it in her own way. This idea connects perfectly with the words of Paul in Philippians 4:9, where he writes, "What you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you." Paul's encouraging the believers to not only listen to his teachings, but to live them out. He was a model of Christ's love, his humility, and diligence, and he wanted others to follow that example. Just as Paul was an example to the Philippians in that moment, I was reminded that my life was also being watched, even by those who may not always let on. Like my niece, people are watching how we live, how we handle our responsibilities, and how we demonstrate Christ in our actions. What Paul is teaching us in Philippians 4:9 is that we're not just called to speak about our faith, but to live it out in such a way that others can learn from us. Our actions, whether we realize it or not, can teach others about God's peace, about his love, and about his purpose for our lives. Just like my niece observed my life and imitated what she saw, we have a similar responsibility as believers to set an example for others, whether it's through how we treat others, how we handle challenges, or even how we manage our day-to-day tasks. People are always watching, and we have the opportunity to show them the love of Christ and how we live. Think about your own life. Who is watching you? Is it your children, your family, your coworkers, maybe even your friends, strangers? Are you living in such a way that reflects the values of the gospel? How can you be more intentional about setting a Christ-like example in your everyday actions? Remember, like Paul encouraged the Philippians, we are to live out the things we've learned, received, heard, and seen in Christ. Others are learning from our example. May our lives be an example of his peace, his love, and his faithfulness.